It's 2025 and I'm gonna start off my first recording of the year with a very sad topic. Topic is CPF Accrued Interest. It's very sad because until today, 2025, not many people know what accrued interest is. We only think it's a very bad thing. In fact, every few weeks for the past many years, I've become an agent. I get questions like this, like, how do I stop accrued interest? I think I need to sell my house because my accrued interest is too high. How come I need to pay back CPF 60,000 for accrued interest? How do I reduce accrued interest moving forward? And then, is accrued interest haram? I'm sure most of you are thinking about it, right? But I can tell you the best part is sometimes I do get agents asking me the same questions. Like, they're asking me accrued interest related stuff, and I don't understand why they're asking me. I'm not CPF bored, in the first place. I just know how to Google, connect the dots, and then because I know how to do that, I can make this video. First of all, today's video is not to talk shit about CPF accrued interest, because a lot of people have this bad perception of how accrued interest is gonna impact their profits and all that. But today, three things. I'm gonna explain why accrued interest is actually good for you. And two, how you can really stop accrued interest. Yes, there's a way. And number three, of course, we have to start with what exactly is accrued interest. So first of all, you need to understand that CPF, the money that's in your CPF account, what is it meant for? It's meant for your retirement. It is a pension plan. It's not meant to be savings to buy a house initially. But over the years, they changed their policies. Last time, there was a time cannot use CPF to buy a house. So today, I'm just going to be sharing you concepts so you understand accrued interest a lot better. Because of that, I'm just going to round up the numbers. Not here to be accurate with the calculations. Just want to give you the concepts. So let's say you start working and you earn $6,000. 20% of your income goes to your CPF. And then after that, your boss, your employer, tops up another 17%. So over 12 months, your CPF, which includes your ordinary account, special account, MediSave account, total will have 26,500. Alright, it's split over 3 accounts. So at the end of the year, you're going to have 16,500 in your OA. And then at the end of the year, you will see this interest payment to you based on 2.5% of what your OA balance is. Now, let's say you don't ever buy a house and your salary don't ever go up for the next 30 years. That means you're earning 6,000. From the age of 25 to 55, 30 years, your ordinary account would have grown to a grand total of 727,000. However, this amount, only 496,000 is from your income. Another 230,000 came from the year-end 2.5% interest payment paid by CPF board. So you have 496 plus 230,000 becomes 727 over 30 years. Now you turn 55. Then your ordinary account gets combined with your special account, whatever amount it is, and they become your retirement account. Then you see your CPF got a lot of money, you relax already, okay, financially free, you want to quit your job. No more income for the next 10 years, but this retirement account will continue growing because in your retirement account, you will earn 4% per year instead. So from 727,000, by the time you hit 65, this amount will grow to 1.07 million. So by the time you hit 65, you can either withdraw your money monthly or there's some lump sum withdrawal. To be honest, I'm not very familiar with what you can do with the money at the age of 65. My best knowledge is all about property and your CPF. So I'm going to talk about that. The reason why I'm sharing all of this is to give you the context so that you understand how accrued interest will actually work. How many Singaporean households today can actually buy your first property without any CPF usage, without any CPF grants? Not many. And do you know that there was a point in time where you really could not use any CPF to buy a house? Government changed the policies to encourage home ownership in Singapore. So that's when they said, okay, you can use part of your pension to buy a property. But you see, the moment you take out your money from your ordinary account, do you think you will still be earning that interest? Okay, will you still have that 700,000 of CPF in your retirement account when you hit 55 years old? The answer is no. The moment you take the money out of your CPF account to buy your property, you're not going to earn the interest anymore. Question number 2, your CPF account. The purpose of it, is it to help you with your retirement or is it to help you be a piggy bank so that you can save money to buy a property? A or B? Answer is A. So from here onwards, I want you to change the mindset. I want you to think about using your CPF to invest in your property. Whether your property is HDB, a landed, condo, doesn't matter. You're taking your CPF out to invest in your property. And then every year, you are still earning interest from this investment and it's fixed at 2.5%. And then when you sell that property, whatever CPF that you have used for the down payment, for the mortgage every single month, it will put back into your ordinary account with the interest that the investment has paid over the years at 2.5% per year. So let's do some calculations. You buy your house, you put a down payment of 100,000 CPF dollars in your property. And every month, you pay a mortgage of $1,005 using your CPF money to pay for the mortgage. And then you stay there for 10 years, you continue paying the mortgage for 10 years. Eventually, you would have withdrawn $280,000 to pay for this house investment. And then in the 10 years, the investment has generated your CPF $50,000. Now, when you sell your property, this CPF money that you have withdrawn, $280,000, will be returned back into your ordinary account plus the $50,000 of interest that your investment has earned you. Now, 2 points. If you had not used your CPF to buy this property, to invest in this property, your CPF would have grown to $280,000 plus $50,000 becomes $330,000. Thanks to the contribution from CPF board, from the government every end of the year at 2.5% interest. But now, because you have taken your money out of your CPF to invest in the property, your property is the one that's paying for the OA interest. In other words, that $50,000 that you would have earned, that would have been added into your CPF by a government, is now effectively coming out of your own pocket. And I need to drill this point across to you. 1. You don't earn the interest from CPF. 2. You are the one paying the interest to your own CPF account. So, in all, it is a double loss. But some people would still say that, hey, you know what, it's still my money, left pocket, right pocket, blah 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 blah. And it's not wrong, because eventually the money does go back to your CPF account. It doesn't go back to anyone else's. It doesn't go back to HDB, you don't pay the government and all that. It goes back to your CPF account for your own future retirement. It's not exactly a punishment. It is how CPF ensures that you, at the end of your career, you will still have monies in your CPF account to finance your retirement. They want to ensure that you have the same amount of funds as if you had never touched the CPF to pay for your property. So how do you actually really stop CPF accrued interest? The best way is, don't use your CPF at all to buy your property. Ha! But at the start of this video, I did ask how many of us can actually buy a property without our CPF savings, right? Even for myself, I bought my first property with my wife's CPF and some of my own savings. Without her CPF savings, I don't think I could have bought that same property that I bought. Let me give you this scenario. Let's say at the age of 26, 27, 28, you're about to get married with your partner. You have saved up a total of 80,000 between you and your spouse, future spouse. 80,000. Where would this 80,000 go to? Is it A, your wedding, your honeymoon expenses? Is it B, your house down payment? Or is it 3, your future house renovation? Chances are you're gonna say A, wedding, honeymoon, and then C, why did I arrange in this manner? But anyway, and then C, your house renovation. The last thing you would consider is house down payment, because you know that you have some CPF savings in your CPF to pay for the house. So this advice of not using your CPF at all to buy your property, in reality, it's not very feasible because of the true expenses we need to set up a house together with a partner for your wedding, for your honeymoon, for your house renovations, things like that, right? However, there is a way you can really stop and reverse your CPF accrued interest. This is what you need to do. Alright, so once you log on to your CPF page, you head down to your My CPF section, go to My Home Ownership, and then you can see personally this is how much I've used in my CPF. In my property from my CPF, I used $9,905. I've accrued $400 of accrued interest in the last 2 years that I've purchased this property. And you scroll down, you see this option, make a voluntary housing refund. This is where you can actually put back whatever amount that you have used in your property back into your ordinary account. You can use eNets, you can use PAYNOW QR code, then you can see your property details here. Let's say I want to refund back $10 today. Just gonna do it now. Okay? And then you can see that you press next. There will be an option for you to actually make the PayNow payment on the spot. Okay, they give you a QR code, scan, then you pay, then ta-da! And then after that, it doesn't load automatically, but eventually you will see that it will be recorded. Now you can see, today, 1st Jan, I just made a payment of $10 back into my ordinary account. You can see that the whole of last year, I earned 3,000 of interest, but very small in my ordinary account. I can see here I'm self-employed, I don't have any contributions to my ordinary account. But otherwise, that is how you actually reduce your CPF in your property, and that's the way you can reduce your accrued interest every single month, right? Every single year. So you can see that now instead of having 9,995, I have 9,985 in my property. So you have better ways to stop, to reduce your accrued interest. Please share it with us in the comments. But I feel that this is the fastest, easiest way where you can use your own cash and then you can put back in your property and then you can start earning the interest back in your ordinary account. Let's say you have 50,000 today and this is something you want to do. Then again, reality hits. Would you rather spend putting back 50,000 into your property so that you can earn the CPF accrued interest over the next few years, or go into holiday, buy a new car, upgrade bicycle? Cycling was a thing for me for a while. I'm glad I stopped cycling. It's a very expensive sport. Or maybe you would rather spend this 50,000 investing in stocks, in Bitcoin, properties in Johor Bahru. Or maybe even save up for a future property down payment for your next property. So there's a lot of things where you have to assess and understand what's the best option for you today. If you know that you are settled with your property, you don't want to move ever for the next 20-30 years, the best option is A, put back the money into your CPF account. Otherwise, I would rather recommend you setting the money aside to save up for your next property down payment. Another way to stop accrued interest, and I can tell you by far this is the worst option you can do, is, and then if you want to do it, you can call me, because this involves selling your property. Of course, when you sell your property, your CPF withdrawn gets returned back into your ordinary account, but in Singapore, when you sell one house, eventually you buy a second property, unless you're staying with your parents and all that. That's not the norm. The norm is you sell one house, you buy another house. Then you use CPF again to down pay for the next property, to pay for the mortgage, and then the accrued interest starts to accrue again. The person that profits the most in this transaction is the agent. So if you feel super uncomfortable with your accrued interest amount in your property, I can tell you selling the house does not settle anything. If you're so affected by it, like what I've shared with you earlier, just transfer your cash into your property. Don't let the cycle repeat non-stop and then you take action that doesn't really solve anything. Only sell your property for proper reasons. You know, you want to upgrade, you want to downgrade, you want to relocate, you want to invest in a better property, things like that. Never sell your house just because of accrued interest. That would be the dumbest move you can ever make. But I'll be there with you. So of course, before you make any decision, it's best to always talk to a financial advisor or property consultant. And if it's a property consultant, make sure it's me or anyone in my team in Hero Homes so that you can weigh out your pros and cons, okay? So, pit stop. When you actually pay off this accrued interest, 1, it goes back to your own account. 2, it is not vanishing into thin air. You're not paying HDB, you're not paying CPF, you're paying yourself, your retirement account. You are just paying the 2.5% interest that you would have collected from CPF board every single year to yourself. That's it. That's it. Of course, it is very, very painful to see a huge chunk of your property profits going into your CPF account. That's money you cannot touch until you hit 65. But again, remember, it's meant for your retirement, still goes to you, your old age benefits. So that's a good thing. In some ways, you can think of accrued interest as forced savings, and you get to use it for your next housing again anyway, so it's all good, right? Again, like I said, I'm not here to talk down about CPF accrued interest, just to explain to you how it works, where it's coming from, why it's actually important to have accrued interest, because we're all living in the now, but we need to think about our retirement, and I think this is one way of government enforcing that we are actually financially secure in our old age. It's not an evil, it's just a shortcut, it's just a mechanism that will not shortchange your retirement savings. And the most important thing is to understand that you cannot really stop CPF accrued interest unless you pay back to your own property, unless you pay back that amount back into your CPF account actually. So I hope this video clarifies the whole concept of accrued interest for you. The next time you hear someone telling you that hey, CPF accrued interest is a scam, government taking our money when you sell our property, blah 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 blah, hope you'll be able to explain to them that it's a very clear trade-off. You either use cash to pay for your property or you use your CPF, and when you use your CPF, your retirement gets affected. So accrued interest is here to protect your retirement. Of course, today we will still use our CPF. Most people will still use your CPF after understanding all of this because cash is king in today's life. So that's it. I think I've covered the topic today. If you think I've overstepped, overreached, over-explained, or I think I explained wrongly, please let me know in the comments. This is something I learned on my own over the years, so I think there's a lot to learn also. I do hope that they cover this in schools in future, so our children, our younger generation will have a better understanding of financial literacy compared to our generation and the generations before us. And with that, see you guys for the rest of the year. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.